Hey, 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 it's Wednesday night happy hour, and this is If You Drink on Vet Radio Syndicate. I'm your host, Heather Clark, and this week is Vet Week. This is the week that we don't have guests, but it's just me hanging out with all of you in the comment section. Maybe a vet will come on and hang out with me on live stream. Maybe they won't. You never know what's going to happen or who's going to pop in. But this week, what we got going on, let's think about this travel wise. So I always give you kind of my travel log at the beginning, where I've been, where I'm going to. I haven't traveled for a couple weeks, but I am traveling to Fort Lauderdale this weekend. Hey, Dean. I'm so excited because I didn't think I was going to make it to Fort Lauderdale this weekend. It's Super Bowl weekend, y'all. I'm going to be there hanging out with all of my favorite veterans from the Irreverent Warrior clan. It's the very first Irreverent Warrior hike of the year for 2022, and we are all very excited to be there. I'm actually not hiking this time, but I'm going to be volunteering, would be hanging out. I got some friends coming in, and I figured, you know what? I'm not doing a whole lot this weekend, and I don't know when I'm going to be able to see all these people again. And I missed Key West hike. I was pretty bummed about that. But I did it for good reason. Had some really cool business stuff happen in that time. So I decided to make the Fort Lauderdale hike. It's a lot of fun over there. They have amazing food on that side. Rocco's Tacos. I'm going to be hitting Rocco's Tacos just north Miami. Have the best guacamole I've ever had in my life. We've got Asian fish tacos and all kinds of cool stuff. And I played one of my very first Top Golf games there. I was in heels, not knowing we were going to go golfing. And this girl took it all from people that golf on a regular basis. I was in heels and I beat everybody that night, and I couldn't believe it. It was like so much fun. So lots and lots of my friends over there that I'm really excited to see and hang out with. And what else we got going on? I got my can't see it now because I got the comment, my Veteran Life Matters shirt on. This was given to me by a viewer and a fan, Jeffrey Powell. If anybody's interested in supporting Veteran Lives Matter, he's got all kinds of merchandise, not just t-shirts. He's actually got like deck shoes and baseball tees and hoodies and all kinds of cool stuff. So it's a great slogan. And, you know, I was at the beach today doing yoga and someone's like, I love that shirt. So I get lots and lots of compliments on it. If you want one, you know, hit me up in the comment section and I'll let you know where to get one. So speaking of the beach, it's been raining all week in Florida, and little breaks of sun will come in and I will like run to the car as fast as I can. I get down the road and it starts raining again. And I was like really, really bummed. Oh yeah, that would be cool to have some camping shoes like that. So today I was like keeping my fingers crossed. The sun came out, it hit 60 degrees, and I was like, you know, I'm gonna take a chance. I jumped in my 4Runner, went down to this beach that I just discovered last month. It's an actual white sand beach north of Tampa. It's private and it's at the end of a dead road of a neighborhood. So like there's hardly anybody there because people don't know that this little gem is hidden there. And they even have like a swimming area that you can go and swim, so you don't have to like worry about sharks or anything like that. But I go there all the time when I can because it's such a beautiful park. I go to there, do yoga, I work out. In fact, I met a Marine there a couple weeks ago. I was doing a new yoga class that I'm creating using a little bit of a keto, some Tai Chi and some other stuff I'm mixing in. And he came up to me. He's like, hey, can I ask you what you're doing? Is that like a new martial art? And I was like, well, I'm kind of just taking little bits and pieces of martial arts and I'm fusing them with this yoga class called About Face that also uses professional athlete facing movements. It's something that I and George Pardos designed together. They use very simple methods actually to tell if you're injured. George put me through the thing. It's so crazy. They tell you to move a certain way, and you know it's kind of all based on kinesiology, movement of your body. George can like tell you exactly what's wrong with that muscle or that bone in your back, or it's crazy how that, or if you have a nutritional deficiency, like if you can't like, if you're like tipping over or something, it's totally crazy. But I really believe in it. Oh, Dean says you broke freezing. Brr, almost made it to 50. 10 more days of snowpack left. Yeah, you can keep the snow. I'm good without the snow. But I have white sand beach that looks like snow, however. But it's really crazy the way that you can tell if something is wrong with somebody just by looking at simple stuff. Like last week, I don't know if you guys ever experienced this mental fog. When I have one of my disabilities is chronic depression. I've got PTSD and anxiety and some other stuff going on. Yoga has helped me recover a lot of the physical movement that I didn't have before, and it helps me manage the mental stuff. I still have it, but it helps me manage it. But sometimes I can still feel it creep in. Do you guys ever feel like that if you have depression? Do you ever feel like you can feel it moving in like a storm? It's Dean says, yeah, I feel like a mental walking fog. It's the weirdest feeling. You can feel it and it's heavy. It's like it comes over you and it just like sits like a hat on top of your head. And sometimes it'll go away in a day and sometimes it'll last a week. Well, it lasted for a week for me last time and I could feel it coming on. So I immediately went and did something called Kundalini Yoga, which is a lot of breathing and chanting, and it kind of opens up a lot of stuff. And it helped a little bit, but it was still sticking there. It was really stubborn. It was like not going away last week. And when I was trying to do yoga last week, I'm a yoga teacher. I couldn't do shit. I couldn't do anything. Like even the simplest moves, it was almost like I didn't have control of my body. I couldn't do anything, but I kept pushing through it every day. I kept pushing through it. And finally on Monday, that mental fog broke. And I went and did one of the hardest yoga sequences for me to do. I did it on Monday, and all of a sudden, I just boom, 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 went into everything, strong, steady, didn't fall out of anything. And it's so crazy for me how yoga is my barometer. Like, if I fall out of something, if I can't hold something, if my body just doesn't want to move that way, I know something's up. And when I recover from those mental fog episodes, I feel strong. Like I just feel like I can take on the world when I go work out. It's such a shift. You know, it's kind of like your chemicals got rebalanced again, but it's a process and it's something that we manage. And I don't ever think that our mental health disabilities ever go away. But there are things that we can do to manage it for sure. So that was my little feel good thing for the week, that I was feeling really amazing this week. And then to go to the beach today, I didn't want to leave. I was like dragging myself away, but I had stuff to do. But God, what a gorgeous day today. It was just, it was a good day. And I'm tan, always feel good when I'm tan. So I'm actually looking at probably taking a little break from grad school. I'm in Purdue University for a master's in public health, which I love. And I'm kind of coming to the end of it, to the end where you actually have to get into the field and do work for 5 months. And I'm just not in a position to do that right now because I've been waiting on this big, huge contract from my company, just getting the approvals and getting the start date. So I actually might be taking a leave of absence for that. And then, man, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm not taking on any new yoga clients right now because I'm really like in limbo. Like, am I going to move anytime? Like any week now? I'm going to move next month. Am I going to move in a couple months? So I'm really in limbo. Like, what the hell do I do? So I got to figure out what to do with myself. I think I'm going to try to go and take a keto, actually. I've been wanting to take a keto for a long time. I've always been fascinated with that and Krav Maga and how just such simple moves you can just like totally maneuver your way around your opponent and like they're on the floor with like hardly any effort, it seems like, from you. So I'm thinking about going to take some Aikido classes, getting back to some guitar classes, because I do good on the guitar, and then I stop playing, and then I stop ass. So I need a creative outlet. Music is my creative outlet. That's one of the reasons I'm moving back to Nashville sometime this year, the Nashville area. Not that I want to be a famous musician, but I just love being around music. And even if it's just writing, doing songwriting, or occasionally, being out at a club or something and doing a couple songs here or there, and just hanging out with all my musician friends in Nashville. I got a lot of cool ass musician friends, including Chris Turner, who pops on here every couple of months. He's got huge stuff coming on. So I'm really looking forward to that. What else we got going on here? Oh, I'm going to say this at the beginning of the show, and I'm going to say this at the end of the show. We need female podcasters. I said this last week. We are looking for female podcasters to come on. We also have a comedy slot open on Monday nights. So if you or anybody else is interested in podcasting, please let the station know. Let them know what your idea for the podcast is, or if you already have an existing podcast, to bring it on our platform. But we need females, and we need a comedy slot filled. So please hit up the station if you are interested in that. And one idea I had is I've done a couple episodes on here called Ladies Locker Room. And it's me getting together with some of my girlfriends, drinking and bullshitting about dudes. And it's really fun and funny. And we're kind of thinking about making that like its own show. So watch out for that. I think I'm going to have probably a couple of the IW hikers on here sometime this month or next month to do an episode. And we'll see if Ladies Locker Room becomes its own show, because it was a huge hit. The couple episodes that we did, we had people like in Canada and Australia just raving about it. Let's see. What else? Oh, Super Bowl. I did not realize I was going to be in Fort Lauderdale on Super Bowl weekend, so I actually might need to stay a day longer. I caught the first part of the Cincinnati Bengal games in the playoffs. I meant to keep watching it. I was actually in an Uber, and the Uber driver was going off about it, saying, oh, they're not going to win, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like reading all the Twitter feed about the Bengals, and like, did they really think they were going to win? Like, people really think this is going to be a comeback game. And so for some reason, I don't know why, when I got home, I had intended on watching it, and then I didn't. And then my boyfriend texted me. He's like, the Bengals won, right? And I was like, shut up. Why did I not get on there and watch it? Like, they won. I was like, that's really cool. Because I don't really follow football that much, but he loves it. He used to play football in the Marine Corps, and so he loves watching his Monday Night Football. So I will watch it for him. But I have to say, I really love live sports more. Live sports, for me, are where it's at. In high school, I loved watching the live sports. College level, I was always like at the games when I was in college. And any professional sports, that I can get to a game is so much better in person than watching it on the TV. But, I don't know if anybody's looked at how much it costs to go to the Super Bowl, but damn, that is like crazy. Like, how could any average person possibly afford to go to the Super Bowl? Like, they couldn't. The prices are just absolutely outrageous. It would be really cool. We know that the NFL makes so much money, and then they make so much money on the Super Bowl. I mean, you're looking at ticket cost. You're looking at commercials, how much they pay to have commercials on there. All the other stuff that they make money off. It would be really cool if one of these years the NFL just said, hey, like, we're going to like set this number, 1,000 seats aside or something like that in a lottery for like your average Joe to come in and go to the Super Bowl. That would be really cool of them to do. Are they going to do that? I doubt it, but it would be cool. A problem I do have with the NFL, actually, and some of the professional sports that I've run into personally, is, allowing them to kneel during the Pledge of Allegiance and the national anthem. I have a huge problem with that. And I do agree with people's freedom of speech, but I don't consider that a speech. I consider that a nonverbal action, and I don't approve of it. And so that is kind of my beef with the NFL. I didn't watch it for a long time because of that, but I actually saw that there's a female soccer player that also was kneeling when she was on the U.S. team, and I saw she just didn't make it. I think her name is Megan something. But I was pretty happy to see that she did not make the U.S. team this year, because to see someone on the U.S. team, not just a professional, privately owned sports team, but on the U.S. team, kneeling during the national anthem infuriates me. Like, and I've told my boyfriend, like, I don't like conflict. I don't like drama. But if I ever see anyone disrespecting our flag, I was like, I'm going to get in their face. So just like be prepared if that ever happens, because that is one thing there's so many other platforms. Does that one get you attention? Yeah. But it's the wrong platform to get attention. Do you have the right to a voice and your opinion? Absolutely. Find another platform. Like, find another platform that doesn't disrespect all the people that have bled for that flag over, hundreds and hundreds of years. And I just remember one night in particular in Afghanistan, we were at a fob, and so we couldn't really have lights on at night. We always had our petzels, but there was one big light that they would shine on the American flag. And I remember coming back from getting coffee at Green Bean. You guys remember Green Bean? Best coffee in the world. And I just looked up, and it was very quiet. Everything was very quiet. I looked up and I saw that beam of light shining on the American flag, and I just like started crying in the middle of Afghanistan. I was just like, it was so impactful and emotional to see that fluttering in the wind. I was at a time when I was in Afghanistan, I was having a really hard time. I missed my family. I was sick of being there. It was cool to work with who I did, but just the way you got to live there, it sucks ass. There's no getting around it. But that moment really kind of motivated me and made me like pull myself together again and be proud. And like I said, just motivated me to get through the rest of that deployment. So anytime I ever see the flag disrespected, I have a huge problem with it. And I will say something to you. But moving on. What else we have going on? So I found this interesting. You guys all know I'm in the wellness business. I've got another company too that's not as exciting, but my main thing is wellness, and I do a lot of research in neuroscience, and something that I try to combine with my education is like, I teach you why yoga works. I teach you why breathing and meditation work. And there's this thing called neuroplasticity. They said that it actually probably is the biggest discovery they've had in neurology since they first discovered like what the brain actually does. And it's that we can build all these different pathways in our brain. So I don't know anybody plays an instrument. Like when you're first learning to play an instrument, you get frustrated. A lot of people quit. But if you keep with it, you automatically pick up your instrument and you just start playing, right? That's because you built a road in your head to remember how to play it. So it's the same thing with our thoughts. When I was talking about having mental fog for the last week, it's the same thing with your thoughts. When a negative thought comes in, or when you surround yourself with negative people or in a negative environment, your brain will start building a road system in your head where your neurons are literally attracted to each other, and they'll connect. And they'll keep connecting on all these different pathways until there's an entire network. And pretty soon you got all these negative pathways and roads and no positive ones. And that's part of like mental health. And when you get to the point that you feel like you don't have control anymore and you can't climb out of that hole. But if you do simple things to replace those negative thoughts, to be around positive people, have positive thoughts, be in positive situations, read things that are positive. Pretty soon, you start building new pathways to positive roadways. And the old negative roads, just like if you neglect a road that you drive on, will eventually fall apart and just like basically crumble away and dissolve. But if you keep replacing positive with negative stuff, even just a word or even just a thought, write something down positive, look at a beautiful picture, go outside. Any of that stuff is going to build new pathways. So that's how I teach vets, is like you literally are able to rewire your brain, because we know that trauma rewires your brain. We know that it has been scientifically proven that trauma gets stored up in your body. If anybody's read that book, I think it's the Body Keeps Count. Like literally, it stores up in your body, and one of the places that it stores the most is your hips. That's why yoga is so great for helping with trauma, because a lot of the awkward poses hit your hip areas, and they're helping parts of your nervous system that get damaged when you are exposed to a trauma. It doesn't have to be combat, it doesn't have to be the military, it can be any kind of trauma, right? So that's why it's so effective. And when you're combining that with positive psychology, which is now a discipline, it's part of cognitive behavioral therapy. If anybody's been through that, it's like such a simple concept, but it actually really works. And one thing I really like and want to incorporate in yoga too is water. This yogi came up with this really cool concept to describe 3 of the main breathing techniques in yoga, and he called it water, whiskey, coffee. So water breath was like our box breathing that we do in the military, right? Like inhale for 4, exhale for 4. Water breathing you can do all day long. Like you don't have to like strike a pose in Walmart when you get anxious or panic. You can do a breathing exercise, a water exercise, or box breathing. Whiskey was like inhaling longer and exhaling out longer for when it's time to go to bed and to kind of like power down. And then the coffee breath was this breath called Kalabata, shining skull breath, because it makes your skin like shiny. But it's just a bunch of like really quick inhales, or excuse me, quick exhales that you're just doing. And it's actually a good ab workout, but it's to like get your energy up and get going and stuff like that. So I saw that he had labeled those breaths like that, and I thought it was kind of genius. And I was doing some more work on water. There's a book called Blue Minds, and Jacques Cousteau. Does anybody remember Jacques Cousteau? Jacques Cousteau was, if you're a 70s kid, and I'm sorry, I forgot to post the link, my bad. If you want to join in the conversation, the link is in the comment section. I've been sitting here babbling. You can jump on live with me, or you can stay in the comment section. But Jacques Cousteau, I remember watching him. Like when you were a kid, you had like 3 channels. Where I grew up, you had like Disney on Sundays, cartoons on Saturdays. Jacques Cousteau came on sometime during the week. I can't remember when, but I was always fascinated and loved him. Well, his grandson is like a famous scientist. And he got all of these scholars and scientists and high-ranking military people to go into this research project called Blue Mind. And they wrote a book about it. And a kayaker, the very first time I went kayaking, the guy that was in charge of the kayaking trip had this book with him. He was a biology teacher, and he's like, you have to read this book. It's like amazing. It talks about the neuroscience of what your brain does when it's on, near, or in the water. Like your brain chemistry literally changes when it's in water. That's why people love going to the beach. That's why they go to the lake. That's why people love baths, hot tubs, pools, all of that, because it literally changes your brain chemistry to feel good. And when I was doing a little bit more research on water, they did this research study where they just had like this bowl of water sitting there. They were able to take, I don't know what kind of camera it was. They were able to take a picture of water and then put it under a microscope so that they could actually see the molecular structure of water. And here's the crazy thing. They wanted to test if water was reactive. So they had someone go up and say something really nasty and negative to the water and took a picture. And then they had someone go up and say something really beautiful and positive to the water and took a picture. And then they put them in the microscope and the shapes changed. The molecular structure of the water had changed and it had reacted to these comments. Now, a lot of people know if you take a basic biology class, like we're like 70% water. Like we are mostly water. You want to think about that. Somebody says something negative to you, you expose yourself to something negative, or you have a negative thought, you are affecting the molecular structure of water in your body versus saying something positive and positively impacting that water. Like, just think about that. Think about how you have a reaction and everything else has a reaction to you, right? It all kind of goes back to basic rules of physics for so many things in living your daily life. It's just crazy. So it's something I've been thinking about for a long time to incorporate water with classes and stuff. It's not something I've actually tested out yet. I know they do here in Florida. Actually, they will do yoga on paddle boards out in Mount Dora. My friend did it, which I thought was pretty cool. But isn't it crazy? Like these little teeny tiny things that affect us that we don't even realize they're affecting us, right? Like we just like have no idea. Education is so important in understanding our own mental disability as veterans, because we get stuck. A lot of people get stuck in the victim mode. A lot of people just get frustrated as hell with the VA. And I get it. Like I totally get it. But there's so many things that we can do to help ourselves. We just have to, pick up a book, go online instead of watching the latest Netflix series. Find a book to read, that will tell you about your brain or about your body, or just a feel-good book, whatever, just to get you in like a different place. So my new rule is that if I hit 35 minutes and nobody has jumped on, I'm going to end the show. And I'm sorry I posted the link a little bit late this time. The link is in the comment section. If you guys want to jump on and join me, Dean, hopefully you'll be able to jump on one of these times. I appreciate you tuning in all the time. But yeah, I'm not going to sit here and babble and bore you guys to death for an hour, because I just get talking and then I don't stop talking. But I'll leave it up. I'll leave the link up for a couple more minutes for you guys to jump on if you want to. I hope everybody's having a great week. It is Wednesday. Trying to get through the week to that lovely Friday so that we can all have like a little bit of break. I really wish that they would do, when I worked for the federal government, we had choices of schedules, and the schedule that I actually chose was 410s. And I gotta say, I kind of liked that. I liked having a 3-day weekend. And then when you work from home, if you're the type of person that can work from home, sometimes you just get so much more done at home. I think really you could probably fit a work day and a lot of jobs into 3 days. It's just when you're at work, you get really distracted, people coming in, disrupting you, then you go to lunch, and then you got meetings and all this stuff like that. And the same thing with school. I don't really think, I was having this conversation about school and being in school all day and then coming home and having a minimum of 3 hours of homework. This is like elementary, junior high, and high school. And I said, that would be like us going to a job for 8 hours a day, coming home, and then having to work for 3, 4, 5 more hours after we get off work. Wouldn't that suck ass? Like, I don't agree with the structure that the school systems are. And a lot of charter schools have gotten away from homework and they do everything in class. And I used to be a teacher, and I totally get you have 50 minutes You got 50 minutes with the kids to try to get everybody settled, to get through lecture, to, get them to do a little bit of work. But I think if they worked on the block system, just like a college schedule, Monday, Wednesday, they have like 4 classes, Tuesday, Thursday, they have their other 3 classes. And that gives you time to, have your lecture and has time to do their homework in class and not take it home. Because my daughter, she's in extracurricular activities. She'll be in school at 7:00, go to school all day. And then she'll have band practice for like 3 hours after school. And then she has to come home and do her homework. Like, that is insane to me that our children are spending so much time doing school when I think there's so many better alternatives. But we're getting close to that 35 minutes. So if somebody's going to hop on, you better hop on quick. I want to tell you about shows coming up. We have a new show called Walk the Line that's on right after me. It's at 9:00. We also have the Stone Vet tomorrow night. He comes on at 8:00. He does a lot of cannabis education. He's a freaking awesome guy. I just love him. Just has the sweetest personality. And now his wife and sister have a new show on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern called Seizing Crazy. So we got a couple female podcasters. I hope we get more female podcasters because I want a big, huge VRS family. Right. Dean says, yeah, that would be awesome, but they have to teach stuff that isn't required for life. It is. And even my daughter was like, Mom, I don't understand. Like, she's looking into university. She's like, I don't understand. Why do I have to take all this stuff again? I've already taken it in high school. Why do I have to take core again? Why can't I just go learn about my job? So that's when her dad and I stepped in and were like, so if you go in the Navy, you can try out a job and go do like your C school or your A school and get it out of the way, test drive it out before you hit college. So we're really trying to convince her to go to the Navy because we think we were both in the Navy. We both loved it. And I think that she would love it. I think she would really thrive. She's typical teenage girl, but she's been doing really well. I just think that it would be really great. Not the discipline, but the structure. She's the baby of the family, and I'm not going to lie, she's spoiled. She is. So we're trying to gear her towards going to the Navy. So hopefully she does that because we're taking her to see a recruiter. She actually can't. She's 17, but she can't sign until she's finished her junior year. So her dad hit me up again. He's like, yeah, we need to get her to the recruiter like as soon as she graduates from her junior year. Dean says, I mean, you have to take English every year. And high school, we speak English. My sister is an English teacher, and she corrects me all the time, and it drives me crazy. I guess there is a point to having English class to develop the language ability in writing. But once you hit the university level, I don't think that you need to keep doing that. And a lot of stuff they do at university, like harping on citing, citing your papers, which changes like every year, they change the rules, all that little tedious stuff. I feel like they're doing it as like a test for attention to detail, just to like say that you did it. But I'm like, when you're at university, like you've already proven yourself. You've proven yourself that you got through high school and could deal with all the bullshit and all the general education. You got that out of the way. Like, I feel like if you were treated more like an adult in university, that you would do better if you just went in there like trade school and you just studied your major and that was it. And less student debt if you just went in there studying a major. That'd be like 2 years off of your degree. Like, I don't get the whole education system. I've worked in it and I have a bunch of degrees and I still don't get it and I still don't agree with it. But so we're hitting 35 minutes. 35 minutes is my end mark if nobody comes on. Again, I want you guys to catch our new shows. Tomorrow night, Stoned Vet. His wife and his sister on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. with Seizing Crazy. We've got The Bar on Saturday with Minnie, which is the coolest and best show on VRS. Sports Church, I don't know if coming on Sunday or not. They had their Super Bowl special. Might be coming on. I don't know. I'm going to be in Fort Lauderdale hanging out with all my favorite veterans on the Irreverent Warrior very first hike of the year 2022 and be watching the Super Bowl with my brothers and sisters. I'm really excited for that and to get some more tan skin going on here in Florida. So until next time, I hope that you guys have a great night. I hope you have a great weekend. I'm rooting for Cincinnati. I don't know who you guys are rooting for, but I'm rooting for Cincinnati to win. Cincinnati's a really cool city. But until next week, if you drink, come drink one with us here at Vet Radio Syndicate. We'll talk to you all later.